Okay, and we're back. Episode 5. A little over halfway now. I think right off the bat, the first thing that I've kind of noticed that this episode I think is starting to point out to me is that Aang is just miserable. Every time they go somewhere, it's just Aang sees something and he's like, "Oh, I suck," and he just gets super depressed. He's just not a super entertaining character. He's just miserable all the time, it kind of seems. But them traveling through the Earth Kingdom, the sets and the locations and everything have actually started to look a lot better. There's not any of that weird, I don't know, uncanny valley for nature look that I said earlier. The sets seem practical and they look actually fantastic. Costumes still look great. Daniel Day Kim as the Fire Lord is absolutely crushing it. I'm a little hesitant still about him showing up in season 1 so much, but the actor himself looks really, really good and is absolutely nailing the character. I don't get why they're still having some of the later seasons kind of stories popping up now. I think maybe they're just trying to get all the good things that people like, and then so they're hooked and they enjoy it, but I think it's just going to run out of things for them to show that are nostalgic later on, which I think might be a little bit of an issue. June, the bounty hunter, looks absolutely great. Her big, can't think of what it's called, but the tracking monster she uses also looks really, really good. One of the better monsters I think they've done. Heibai, the big spirit monster, looks actually really, really good. But I think something too from this episode, obviously I'm getting into a more spoilery of a review, but it is what it is. This episode has a lot of those kind of moments. There's a moment where June says something to Zuko, and Zuko goes to throw hands with her, and Iroh holds him back. Then Zuko just throws off Iroh, but after he throws off Iroh, Iroh just pushes him back slightly, and it was just a little moment that I thought was actually really, really funny. What else here? Oh yeah, why did they allow Katara and Sokka to go in the spirit world with Aang? Like, I get story-wise where it's what they're going with, but I think it's just something that kind of takes away from Aang's ability to go on these individual adventures that were really important to him building his character in the spirit realm. They've kind of done that because they get separated, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, I don't know, it takes away from the power of Aang and the power of Avatar. And another thing, too, is that why did they make it so that Aang can only talk to past avatars when he's at specific locations? I think that's something that also is just kind of unnecessary, because in the show he could just always, if he sat and meditated hard enough and long enough, he could speak to the avatars. Monkey Yatso also popping up into the spirit realm. I actually like it. I know in Korra they have it so that Iroh is in the spirit realm. I think that actually works. It's totally fine. It gives them an interesting dynamic. There actually was something that I would have liked to have seen in the original show. Why are they doing so many flashbacks that become important later on in season? It just cuts into those same stories where you're seeing a lot of these things that, sure, you saw pieces of them, but they're just giving you the whole story. And I don't know if I'm on board with that. They also kind of changed the dynamic of what happened with Katara and her mom. They made it so that maybe Katara's the reason that her mom got taken. Yeah, I don't know. So it's like the mom was never planning to sacrifice herself until Katara outs her. I hope that's not what they're going with, but if they are, then I don't know if I'm a fan of that. But yeah, the spirit realm monsters or spirits, they look really, really good. Ko the Face Stealer looks absolutely horrifying. It's super creepy. But overall, I'd say this episode's not quite doing for me. It's maybe like a 3 out of 10 kind of episode. I don't know. I think they're running out of time to tell some of the really, really good stories from Season 1, but it is what it is. Season 1 is also one of the more lighthearted seasons overall. I think as it progresses, it starts to actually get a little more intense, and I think they're just starting out a little too intense, but it's what they're going with, so it is what it is.